I've never known what it was about nasturtium that is so attractive to me. It's a funny little flower and a little lily pad kind of leaf. I've put in a very simple line drawing in pencil, and for my palette, I'm using Liquitex heavy body paints. We have titanium white, Naples yellow, cad red medium, burnt sienna, phthalo green yellow shade, and my very favorite dark green, sap green. That phthalo green is almost toxic. It is such a strong, strong green. You're going to see me neutralize it to calm it down a little bit, but it seemed like the perfect green for those leaves. I start out mixing Naples yellow with that cad red to get the lighter edges of the flower. I'm just putting in those light spots where the light's hitting it around the edges. And then I move more into the cad red medium and start putting in the centers of those flowers. I just keep building out all the flowers, varying degrees of adding a little Naples, less Naples, trying to get a variety. There you see me mixing in a little of the red with that phthalo green to neutralize it. It really needs it. It just would look too fluorescent and unnatural. At the top of the leaf where I've got shade, I've mixed in a little bit of sap green just to darken it. And then as you'll notice as I'm going around the leaf, particularly at the bottom, I've even mixed in a little white, just giving me some varying shades of green. You don't want to just take one shade of green and paint in all your leaves. It'll look super flat and it won't look realistic. Here you see me using a very small liner brush. I'm taking mainly white, but with just a touch of Naples yellow just to knock it back a little bit. I've got that brush fairly wet and I'm moving very quickly with those lines, trying to keep them irregular and quick and thin. I love that sap green. It's just great to drop in behind things. It makes the leaves on top come forward. I'm adding some of the burnt sienna to my red for those flowers in the background just to darken them and make them drop to the background. Again, I'm just adding a little more yellow, a little more red, a little more white, just varying those greens. I'm going back over the leaves with more and more layers. You just don't want to leave any space on your canvas with just one layer of paint. I like multiple layers. It's just more interesting. Dropping in even in the background in between those little stems. Go back over it, touch it again, touch it again, touch it again with different shades of green just to keep it interesting. Try to keep the centers of those leaves irregular. Be mindful of the direction and the angle of those little stems that are coming out. Try to do it quick, keep it loose and impressionistic looking. If you go too slow, it tends to get too fixed and too precise looking, and you can really lose that looseness in a hurry. Just try not to overthink it. I'll keep it loose and fresh. Just going back over the reds, going back over, just touching everything on that canvas one more time. Dropping in some lights on top of that dark background just so it looks like there's a mixture of foliage in the back. Just adding one more layer to those flowers, one more little highlight, one more little dark spot just to give it a little more depth. I've dropped back to a smaller, finer bristle brush with a sharper edge. I've really resisted the urge to get a smaller brush to put those stems in. I wanted the stems to be loose, to have some curve to them, so I've kept a fairly good sized brush. You're not doing yourself any favors if you want to keep your painting loose and impressionistic. If you use tiny little brushes, you just can't paint a loose painting with brushes that are too small. The bigger you can go, the looser it's going to look. Took me a long time to get away from using little brushes and holding them like a pencil, but the bigger the brush, the faster you can move it. Turn that brush, use different edges of it. Don't let it face the same way every time you put a stroke down. All of that goes into helping that painting stay fresh and loose. One more time on the leaves. One more coat. Can you do too much? Go until you're satisfied. Go until you don't see anything that's jumping out. It looks right. Don't overwork it. There's the other danger. You can overwork it, and all of a sudden you lose that freshness and that as quick brush strokes. If you see something that looks a little rough and you decide you're going to go in and keep fine-tuning it and messing with it, you can really lose that fresh look. So just try to keep your hands off of it. Hey, if you've enjoyed this quick video on doing a loose impressionistic painting and would like to learn more, I invite you to go to my website, victoriahagemanart.com. I'll put a link in the description box below. There you will find very reasonably priced courses and shorter tutorials, and you'll also be able to look at my original paintings. When I sell a painting, 25% of it goes to Hydrating Humanity to build water wells. You can beautify your home while beautifying a life. Also, check out my YouTube channel where I've got lots of free things. Thanks again.